Great.
Alrighty, so here we are.
What's your favorite German word?
Should I clear out my throat like everyone else?
My favorite German word.
Well, hello there. Welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined by my co-host Ryan.
Oh, hello. Hi there.
He's
Sorry.
there. He's
Yes.
there. I don't know why you were
No,
asleep.
I can hear someone. I can hear someone breathing, and I don't know if it's maybe just me. Like I can hear myself breathing.
I don't know.
I'm like recording this and I'm going,
Stop breathing into it. Stop breathing.
just stop breathing. Oh, I wish I couldn't. I couldn't breathe anymore. That'd be great.
Okay. And we are also joined by our friends Josh and Katie from Uncomfortable Brunch because we get to watch this movie in the cinema soon.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, hey.
Thank you for having us back.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming over on this beautiful day. And I didn't even say what the film is yet. I'm excited. I really like this movie, which I also saw at an OG Uncomfortable Brunch back at Will's Pub.
Yeah, that was, what was that, like 2016? Does that sound right? I can't remember.
I think it might, maybe. I don't know.
That sounds right.
You would know better than me.
No, I wouldn't.
We're talking about the 2013, it's a German film, drama, also romantic comedy, Wetlands. Wetlands.
Wetlands.
Probably referring to your wet lady bits down under.
I
Not yours,
guess.
but
Yeah, I
just
get-
in general.
Yeah,
The ones
not
that I
mine.
own?
Yeah, the
Like
ones
possess.
you keep at home in a jar.
Baby food jars filled.
Like Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Kind of like she does in this film, actually.
Yeah.
She does
Yeah.
play around with her butthole bits.
Yeah.
Butthole bits.
Literal bits of her own butthole, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Her asshole's a real mess. Like, it's a freak show down there.
It's maybe the most horrifically depicted butthole in all of cinema that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. Well, hold on. You say in all of cinema, is there another
Sorry,
butthole
in-
that has been?
I mean, there's the whole
Depicted
thing in
as horrifically.
society. That's pretty upsetting, but that's
That
goofy.
is really super fucked up. Yeah, I keep on forgetting about that one, and I shouldn't.
That's a film I
yeah.
always bring up. Can we watch Society? You go, I'm not in the mood.
I'm always in the mood. Come over to my house tonight and we'll watch Society.
Wait, what is it called? Shunting or?
Yeah, shunting. The
Yeah.
shunting. And
Is that from Society?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
We've got it on Blu-ray. It's sitting on the shelf. If you want to watch it tonight, we can watch it tonight if you fancy.
Hooray!
Okay, great.
That's a movie you can like get a meal, like a nice wet meal, and
Yeah.
watch Society.
Yeah. You
Chili.
will not feel grossed out by it whatsoever.
Like a hot bowl of chili.
yeah.
Lots of cheese
Yeah.
that's gonna melt on top.
Okay.
Anything
And I don't
just-
know, if
yeah.
you can figure out a way to play around with Vaseline or something too while doing it, that will really
Just like
sell
around
the
the rim of the bowl.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
like
Like a
yeah.
margarita.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
just
Like, that movie's not gory, it's gooey.
rive my hands in Vaseline for the entire duration of watching them. It's like watching From Beyond. Everything's just slightly more wet.
I like those wet 80s films.
Oh, they're just yeah. It's just they're
I do.
sexy. Yeah. you
Yeah,
don't really
they
have
make
that
it
anymore.
extra
Yeah.
sexy, especially
Wet
From Beyond.
equals sexy.
From Beyond actually does have some
Yeah.
really good parts that are
Is
sexy.
Wetlands sexy?
Kinda.
I guess it depends on your feelings.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the shaving scene's kind of sexual. I know Josh doesn't need to see that, but I think it is.
Oh no, I get it. I just am very upset because the programming director at Enzian, the art house theater we work with, this man, after watching this shaving scene, said that it was one of the most erotic things he'd ever seen, and that horrified me.
Yeah, that's kind of gross. Yeah.
That's like, it's like has the mouthfeel of when someone calls their partner their lover. Like, it just fucking, I can't put my finger on exactly why I hate it, but I fucking hate it.
It's
Or-
kind of, yeah, it's opening a
sit-
door and you find out something that you don't really want to know. Yeah.
When someone describes having sex as making love.
Yeah.
Well, that's discovering someone's Christmas kink that you really wouldn't want to know. Like, or knowing that someone discovered a new kink right next to you.
Right.
It's like something they never knew turned them on, and then they turn
Right.
over to you and be like, Hey, I'm really turned on by this
I think
now. I never
of
knew.
all the
gonna have
things,
to-
though, I think shaving's like not that bad. Like, I don't think out of all of the things.
Oh, I don't think it's bad. I just think
Yeah.
it's gross to refer to anything as erotic, like without a certain level of flippancy or something. I don't know. Like,
It kind of makes it feel immediately quite icky.
yeah,
The minute you say it, and you're like,
like
yeah.
erotic thriller is what I think of, and I think of you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Fatal Attraction.
no, I think of like Disclosure, like something like kind of filthy like that. That's what I think of when I.
I mean,
think
that's
of
a
the word
twofer,
erotic.
though, Disclosure. That's also an erotic thriller, plus a VR adventure.
That is on my list. I made
Yeah.
a letterbox
Oh,
list of VR films,
That
Yeah.
fucking
and
movie.
I want it to be comprehensive.
Yeah.
Do you have it? I have it on
list?
Blu-ray.
Oh,
No,
I'm like,
the
I have the
list.
list.
Yeah.
I think I have it on maybe one of those flip the paper.
Last time we watched it, we
cases?
saw it on Italian TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went.
We watched it in Italian.
I watched it in Italian.
It was awesome.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
In that really, okay, we need to.
Yeah,
get into
we're
the
talking
movie.
about
But it's
Disclosure
like,
now?
But it's like in
Yeah.
the whole system is like a filing cabinet, a virtual filing cabinet. It's the most boring, stupid thing ever.
Yeah, it's like the InGen
I gotta get to this
files
file
in
quicker.
Jurassic
Yeah, I mean,
Park.
VR.
it's very clearly based on a Michael Crichton novel.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that only it's not sci-fi really. It kind of is, but not in his traditional sense.
I'm
so.
a hacker now, you know.
And it also is really, really respectful to what would eventually become the Me Too movement. Not problematic at all.
Yeah. Speaking of problematic, or not really, actually, I'm going to talk about who is in this film, and then we're just gonna keep going about
Good.
Wetlands, the film we're
Yeah,
talking about.
what a
Not
segue.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
That wasn't my best. Let's continue. Carla Jury is in this film as Helen, our main character. Christoph, this is going to be hard. Letkowski,
Oh, this is
Marlon
gonna be some
Cruz,
fucking word
Merritt
salad
Becker,
coming out
and
of this
Axel
today.
Milberg. Okay, I got through it just fine.
Good.
Directed by David Wnendt. And before you get into David, I'm going to read this ridiculously long synopsis that basically lines out the entire film, which is what I hate about synopses and what I hate about modern day movie trailers. You need to learn everything. Helen is a nonconformist teenage girl who maintains a conflictual relationship with her parents, hanging out most of her time with her friend Karina, with whom she breaks one social taboo after another. She uses sex as a way to rebel and break the conventional bourgeois ethic. After an intimate shaving accident, Helen ends up in the hospital, where it doesn't take long before she makes waves. But there, she finds Robin, a male nurse who will sweep her off her feet.
Right.
A million different
Okay.
ways that this is a weird synopsis, but I mean,
It's all technically true,
yes, of course.
but
You also don't need to tell the end of the film
right.
when
Yeah.
you're reading about the film.
Yeah.
I was hoping that it would just like scene by scene be like, and then they take out their tampons and switch, and
Yeah.
then she takes the barbecue flipper tongs and has to fish out her homemade tampon out of her friend's vagina and
Yeah.
then gives it to her dad without washing it off. Oh my god.
When he puts those steaks on the grill, you can tell they'd already been cooked as well.
Yeah, I know. I kind of like that. So you're really gonna taste those chunks.
Yeah.
Well, I think they'd seared. I think they were like
Uterine chunks.
they were like chicken steaks or something. It's just
Maybe
there's
pork
always
chops.
there's always the worry that if it's with chicken, like it doesn't cook all the way through when you put it on a barbecue.
I don't think it was chicken.
I don't really know.
Yeah, it was a
I
lot
guess.
darker.
Like a
It
pork
could be
chop or a
it
steak.
could be pork.
Okay, look, I'm just not aware of my meats. Then obviously, I'm just
Get informed about your meats.
I need to know more about my meats.
The tagline of this film is, "Get ready for Helen."
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, Helen.
Oh, get ready. Here she
Ooh.
comes. She's coming for you on her longboard.
Yeah, fucking longboards. Christ.
Tell us about the director now.
Cool. So, David Falco Wnendt, and I'm assuming that's how we say his surname. He's a German director and screenwriter. So this is taken from the bio from Letterboxd, But mostly he's known for, he gained fame from the multi-award winning Warrior from 2011. Now, I got instantly very confused when I wrote that because Warrior from 2011 is also a movie that stars Tom Hardy about MMA. But Warrior is also the other name for combat girls, which is also referred to as Kriegerin, which also translates as female warrior. So,
which is a film we'll probably do sometime, which I haven't seen yet. That Josh,
really
you said has it pertains to our interests.
yes,
It's a good film.
Not much really to kind of say on the man. There's not really an awful lot of stuff online. In terms of like his films, there's only a handful. He made a short in 2004 called I'm going to say this. I think it's Badatag. After that, 2011 is Combat Girls, which is Kriegerin. Wetlands came out in 2013, which is Feuchtgebiete, I think.
You're doing great.
Feuchtgebiete. I don't know. I haven't done German in a very long time. After that, he did in 2015. Look Who's Back.
That's a funny movie.
Ist wieder da.
Yes,
which is
I have seen
the
that.
Return of
Yeah.
Hitler,
Yeah.
which is
Did that play at Enzian?
I don't think so.
I don't know where I saw that then.
I don't
I've
know. I saw it
definitely
at
seen
home.
it.
I finally got around to watching it at home because,
It's very funny.
yeah.
It's very weird.
2019, you have the Sunlit Night. There is no other alternate title for that one. And in 2023, he released Sun and Concrete, which is Sonne und Beton.
Sunlit Night was that English language one with Jenny Slate, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen that one.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a delight.
Oh, that's nice. A delight.
Yeah, it wasn't like Wetlands.
No.
Not the fun
Wow.
romantic romp that is Wetlands.
Roaring endorsement. Very good. That kind of covers David. I just don't really have an awful lot on him. Let's just say he's a fledgling career. So I am very interested in watching the Hitler Awakening into the Present Day movie.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in seeing that just to see how ridiculous that seems. But yeah, that covers David Wnendt.
Wow. Yeah, you said he's on Instagram, doesn't have a whole lot of followers.
Yeah,
so
we
let's
started
bombard
following.
him with
He's got like
friendship.
2,000 followers on Instagram, so started following him. He seems like someone who's got a very cool sense of humor. So
The director of that Rebecca Hall Permission movie hasn't accepted my friendship yet.
oh, what a shame.
I know.
Yeah,
So-
because that film was a fucking barn burner. But yeah, love to have spoken to him a little bit more about that one.
So this film was based off of the 2008 novel with the same by the same name by Charlotte Roche, and it was the top-selling novel worldwide that year. Incredibly controversial in Germany, where people would know the book without even like having read it.
Yeah, it's like 50 Shades of Grey
Yeah,
level
it's
of
like
fame.
it just.
I didn't care for the book, actually.
You did read it.
Yeah, I own it. I have a copy of it if you want to borrow it.
I do.
I don't care for it, personally.
Yeah.
It may be a translation thing, though. Because it felt like an even more... language used in it was even more immature than a Chuck Palahniuk book.
Okay.
Like, it felt like a 13-year-old learned a bunch of new dirty words and just used them ad nauseum. And I didn't get much out of it. But I also read that like 10 years ago, so maybe it's worth a revisit.
Okay. Apparently, when the press found out it was being made into a film, they said that whoever's going to play this role is a disgrace to human beings. And so Carla Jury was like, that's all I needed to know. I had to tell this story. I had to get in there.
Wow.
The author didn't want to get involved in the making of the film, but she picked the producer. And the producer knew the director because of his graduation film from film school, which I think was Combat Girl. Mm-hmm. And they got together and did the thing. The producer wanted the film to be a mix of 9 songs and train spotting. That was his goal.
You can definitely see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Like that toilet scene?
I mean, it's certainly funnier than 9 songs.
Yeah. 9 songs falls under the bracket of being just a little bit dull.
Yeah, it's
For
just
what it
fucking
is,
music.
yeah.
And it's not, I don't know, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's
But-
dicks in that one, too.
Lots.
Yeah.
It's all on simulated sex in that.
Yeah.
Cool.
But the train spotting references I feel like are maybe a little bit maybe a little bit too literal. But yeah, there's very much a kind of a tonal thing that's very relatable here from the train spotting stuff. So
Well, it's like, how can we make that bathroom look more disgusting?
Yeah.
Being barefoot, I think, would kind of do that.
yeah.
Yeah, the wading through the like inch of water,
Sewage
like
or-
gray water.
I was like, are there stairs down to the sewer? Like, I was
Yeah, where is she
I was
going?
so
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
That opening sequence is fun, though.
I mean, there's references within that first 10 minutes to, Fight Club and Train Spotting as well.
Yeah.
Like that opening and things.
Yeah.
This is a rip-roaring ride through the sexual escapades of Helen, effectively.
I don't know. She's just a sad girl who wants her parents to get back together, okay? That's all. And she'll do anything it takes to her butthole to get that to happen.
That's very true. You just fuck around with her butthole an awful lot. I mean, hemorrhoids, the struggle is real. Let's be fair.
I don't know. Sorry.
Nobody knows?
I've not had them.
Who's got hemorrhoids in the room? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, my dad has told me a little bit about his hemorrhoids, which I didn't want to know.
I want to know about Keith's hemorrhoids.
Ask,
Can you tell me, or can I call you? Can you give me your dad's number?
ask him about it next time you see him.
No, I don't want to text him right now.
Just
no,
like
like,
live info
in person.
about the progress
Be
of
like,
his hemorrhoids.
Tell me about these rubber bands they put on your hemorrhoids.
Face
What?
it, fucking rubber bands?
It's called like banding or something.
Yeah,
that they
it probably
try
cuts
to.
off the circulation. And,
Oh, and then they just drop off
Like
on their
skin
own?
tags?
Yeah.
Like skin tag rubber bands for your butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you that I
I'm
knew
into
too
it.
much.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm curious how it feels. Is it bad? Do you think it hurts?
I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe
it
those rubber
can't
bands
hurt.
feel good.
It can't hurt any more than they already hurt. Probably.
Like maybe it's like becomes that good kind of pain.
Like,
know,
like itching an itchy butthole.
Like I was gonna say like fisting, but yeah.
Oh, I was thinking like the doctor sticking his finger into her blister and popping it in his own face.
Yeah.
It
so
squirts into her
good.
face.
Like not even
So
warning
fun.
her or anything. Like how like are all the doctors in Germany like that unethical? Because
No gloves.
He was like
Yeah.
he just kind of went in there and just poked her butthole like immediately.
Not sanitary. I mean, it's not
Germany's
sanitary
very
down
much
there.
a no-nonsense country, and I quite respect that. I do like the fact that he popped it and he immediately goes, "There you go. You should be pain-free now." So,
Get out of here.
yeah. Yeah, no, hemorrhoids are awful. But yeah, there's a lot of things I couldn't deal with in the film that I kind of appreciated because it really fucked with my OCD a fair amount. Like, this was very much the kind of, if you have OCD, you're going to have real problems with what Helen's doing to herself.
I'm trying to remember the one scene that you were like, this is killing me.
I mean, it's when it started on the toilet and she was like, I think she's going to do something. She's going to put something in her mouth. Like, she's going to do something. And I'm just like, no, like that, like there was so many different boundaries crossed for me as like an incredibly hygienic and sterile individual that I am, that I just,
Couldn't deal.
I felt physically sick. Like watching the film, and I do have to respect it for that because I do like things that gross me out a little bit.
So how do you feel about in 2 weeks you're gonna watch it while eating food?
That depends on if I'm available that day.
Oh, suddenly I'm not available. Oh.
I might be working because I can work either 7 days a week, 24 hours a day for whatever reason.
Depending on your whim.
Depending on what they give me. I mean, I wouldn't mind coming to Uncomfortable Brunch. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd have that much of a problem. Thing is like whenever I do go to Uncomfortable Brunch and I do eat, I do end up just staring at my food, not the screen, until that food is gone. So
I think that it'll be a real pleasure. I'm excited.
I took it for a test run. I ate my lunch while I was watching it earlier, and it was not great. She's, just sliding her vagina on the
it starts off.
dirty seat, and I'm just like, oh.
It's a weird time to be eating a bologna sandwich.
yeah.
Extra mayonnaise.
And then her just like talking about like cottage cheese and like wafting her pussy scent at the guy.
Yeah, the pheromones. Gotta attract a mate.
I liked that where they were just like sticking their fingers in and like rubbing it like perfume on their necks.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I've seen that on like Instagram and TikTok, like Gen Z doing that. Yeah.
Ugh.
whoa.
Wow.
Kids
I'm like,
these days.
I don't.
I remember going out with a few ladies who are maybe a little bit more liberal than me, and they're just like free woods women. Like they would run in the forest naked, and that's just not what I would do. But they told me that they'd get down there and they'd give it a sniff and they'd give it a taste, and I was like, wow, you guys are so free.
I'm gonna ask this
I
question,
loved it. It was
and
cool
I
that they
don't
would
know
tell me
if
that.
this is like crossing a line or what.
Uh-oh.
But what would you describe the optimum smell being?
Okay, I don't think there is much of one.
Okay,
I mean, you can't smell yourself.
is it like a relatively
Yes, you can.
Is it quite a relatively unique smell? As in, like, it's something that you could discern between, say, I don't know, peaches, or say, I don't know, fish, for example. Like, what would it be?
I'm sure that I'm sure it's the same as a man, depending on like your diet,
Your
exercise,
diet,
your
yes.
hydration levels, your cleanliness. I think the way you fit your clothes, like if your clothes are too tight,
Yeah.
anything like the weather.
Yeah, because it's really, it's only if you have like a yeast infection that you're gonna notice there's like a scent. It smells like bread
Okay.
because
It's
It
yeast.
smells like bread.
Also,
Oh,
what
right.
kind of
Oh,
bread?
okay, because of the... Oh, right, okay,
Wonder
the
bread?
infection.
French baguette.
like
Fresh, warm bread.
Rye. Rye bread.
Warburtons. Yeah.
it's a marble rye.
Oh, nice.
We're getting
The type
specific.
of bread depends on the
Flowery
woman. You know,
bats.
some people have more of a sourdough, which is
Right.
maybe it is more of a sourdough actually.
God.
Yeah, who
I did,
knows?
yeah.
You
I
asked
did-
the question.
I did wonder, no,
I
because...
think it is quite personal to each individual.
Yeah.
But I do think that you're right. Like,
Well, it led me on to, like... There was the smelly vagina story, which is when I went
boy.
home with a lady, and she still had her underwear on, and I remember opening her legs up, and I literally was bombarded with the stench of like a fish market. It was so incredibly strong that
I mean, I like fish.
it was I was at least 3 or 4 feet away from her,
I'm a
and
pescatarian.
I was like, no, you're okay. And I
I'd go
closed
for some
it, and
salmon right now.
I remember kissing her on the forehead, and I was like, I think it's good time for us to just maybe go to sleep. And I just felt
close
like
the market.
I closed the market up early. I was like, nope, there's no sale today.
Okay.
I'm making a return. And
hope she got to the doctor.
Well, the smelly dick story was someone that I remember from university. I have to balance it up because I can't just shit on the vagina.
like
shitting
Karina
on the-
shit on the guy's chest.
I wasn't sure if she actually got that turd out.
Yeah, I don't know if she got it out.
She
either.
had to because they were like making fun of her at
I
school.
thought maybe they were making fun of her because she couldn't get a turd out.
We'll get
No,
to
I
that.
think she succeeded.
We'll get to that. I'm gonna
Okay,
finish the
so
dick because
smelly-
I can't be like I can't just sit on the vagina. I have to get
Let
on
me
the
smell
I have
your
to do the
dick.
dick. So there was a girl who was quite promiscuous that I remember, and she
Hey,
was
that's
always
okay.
she was having plenty of relationships with many of the people who were living in the halls. We were quite young at the time.
Cool.
And I remember I got a hate message from her once because I'd ignored her advances, and I was with somebody else at the time, and I got a hate message from her saying like, "Will you enjoy that whore?" And she slid it under my door. But she also told me a story of when she took a guy home. I think his name was Ali. He always wore the same jeans, and he always wore the same leather jacket, and that was always a bad sign.
Okay.
And supposedly she took his trousers down, and this repugnant stench came out, and she literally reclothed him and basically told him to leave because the guy didn't wash his junk. This seemed to be
Yeah,
like
I
more hygiene stories
Yes, I
than
think that
anything
maybe
else.
you've answered like a lot of questions you had.
I guess. I think it's just because I was a curious little plum and I just wanted to try and figure out some things about
Plum?
what was going on. Yes, I said plum. But the thing is like, if you shit on someone's belly, it's not a Cleveland steamer, I don't think. I think it has to be on their chest. And also, it's on their chest, but then you sit in the shit that's on their chest and you rub it back and forth. That's a Cleveland steamer.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it?
I remember
Why?
being at the pub
Because of the
once.
rolling.
Like a carpet steamer, maybe?
Yes.
Oh, that
Like a
I
steam-
get it. I always
Yes.
just assumed that it was so hot that there was steam coming off of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I
Like
thought
Ren and
too.
Stimpy
Yeah.
almost, or something
Well,
like that.
there's the street steamers, I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
So,
That's
Steamroller.
what I
Yeah.
remember. But yeah, they didn't refer to it as a Cleveland steamer in the movie. It's just
No.
shit on my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, is
Which I'm
Cleveland
like,
famous
yeah.
in Germany?
Yeah. I mean, is
Cleveland
Cleveland
famous?
in
Yeah.
Germany? Well, I
In
don't
general?
know. I'm not.
I mean, like, yeah, like,
German.
would they know, like, oh yeah, Cleveland, Ohio,
I
Rock and
mean,
Roll
Like
Hall
from
of
the
Fame.
like from the Drew Carey show.
I mean, they probably would if they watched any pop culture stuff because, like, they talk about Cleveland and 30 Rock, like Flee to the Cleave.
Right? Yeah. I guess
And,
so.
Like,
I don't know.
if they watch Drew Carey show.
I just feel like
Well,
it's
we're gonna
not
figure it
as,
out now.
It's probably not as universally popular as like Los Angeles or
Are
New
you-
York
you're
or
Googling?
San Francisco.
Do German people-
there's
San Francisco steamers.
Do
yeah,
German
big,
people
big
know
cities
about
all over the world that you
Cleveland?
just know. Like I wouldn't know a random, working class city in
All right,
England.
Urban Dictionary is gonna answer that. The first thing that comes up though is like Cleveland range, like convention and like countertop like cookers and stuff. But anyway, we'll look at Urban Dictionary. There's also pictures, which I don't want to look at. Okay, so the Cleveland steamer is far more specific than the listings I've seen here. Sexual act by nature, fetish. The Cleveland steamer is one person craps on another person's chest, and very important, then sits down and rocks back and forth like a steamroller.
Oh, okay.
So that's also very important. I drew a diagram at
very
the pub.
important.
Yes, it is very important. I drew
Breaking
a diagram
news.
of it when I was at the pub a few years ago, back home, just so people knew.
That's nice.
And I gave it to the barman.
Do you think he still has
yeah.
it?
He better.
I have more notes, and then we can talk about the film, maybe. So the director said that there were many challenges during kind of like the pre-production, because, like I'd said, even if people hadn't read the book, they knew of it.
Yeah.
So, for example, finding the location of the small church scene was nearly impossible because people were really scared of the title of the film. So they just didn't want to be like involved with it. And the film debuted at the Locarno Film Festival, and this is where like Carla, who plays Helen, grew up. So her mom would be like out at the store getting groceries, and she saw the mom of an old friend of hers, and that mom tried to hide behind grocery shelves because it was just like it's too much. It's too much to deal with. Oh, to prep for the role, Carla went back to high school for 2.5 weeks. She was 27 years old, and nobody knew, and she had to make a fake Facebook profile account because people are asking to be her friend, and she had to like really dig in to like not get...
she like never been kissed.
She'd never been kissed it. Undercover, went to school, and only like the head director of the
That's
school
the
knew.
remake we need.
Yeah.
I mean, how many instances were they at the school for though? Like not many.
No. This is just to like prep for being
To get
A
herself into the
17-year-old.
mindset of a
high school kid.
a
Yeah,
high school kid,
'Cause
right?
She's 10 years out of high school.
I guess, yeah, because well, high school's a fucking horrible place. I guess you just have to remind yourself of how fucking shitty it is. Okay, I see.
So
I get you.
The movie starts out with a warning from a letter to the editor of Build Online that says, "This book shouldn't be read or adapted to film." Which I like a lot.
I
Wow.
don't think it's that crazy though.
No.
I mean it's funny and it's gross and
Yeah.
it's all these things, but I've seen far worse.
Of course.
Far worse. Like
course
probably
you
this
have.
week.
Yeah.
Because there's not a malicious bone in its body in this movie,
No.
like whatsoever. Like it feels relatively quite like innocent, and it's like a lot of curiosity, and it's kind of very freeing. And
I had an old friend who after he saw it, he said this movie is incredibly filthy homily, and I thought that was
Yeah.
very accurate assessment.
Yeah, because she does go into like the different idiosyncrasies of her parents and like how it's kind of like affected her relationships with other people. Because I think like the only malicious people in the story are her parents. Like her mom saying jump.
Yeah.
And then she moves out of the way and she's like, don't trust anyone, even your parents. And I'm like, oh my God.
And then it's kind of like you don't know. There's one point where they're like, "Oh, you tend to lie a lot," and she's like, "Do I? I don't know." And where she can't even remember what's real and what's not. Sometimes, like there's these dream sequences, and I'm like, "Did that actually happen?" Like the mom like cutting her eyelashes in the night.
Yeah.
Because someone complimented her beautiful child eyelashes.
Yeah, because too many compliments starts to poison your mind, basically.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't prepare you for the real world.
I figured they were all like actual occurrences.
Those seem like childhood memories.
Yeah.
Especially like the sunburn thing of like the negligent father because he's too focused on building a sandcastle, so he just like puts it sort of on her shoulder and that's it.
And it's the worst fucking thing ever.
lump.
It's just a pile of sand with like
sticks.
things sticking out of it. Yeah, he's a fucking engineer as well. And it's like, yeah, here's this pyramid with a whole bunch of fucking broom handles sticking out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can relate to feeling neglected by my parents and then them being like, yeah, this is character building, so just deal with it. Like, I can fully understand like where she's coming from.
Doesn't she get like knocked into the pool by her dad's dick?
Yes.
Well, I think it was his knee.
I think he slapped her in the face, didn't he?
She
Just
said
pushed her over.
you either have a shit ton of money or a big dick, and he had both. And then he was swinging his dick around, and I thought it's like, he was wearing a swimsuit, but I thought it slapped her in the face, and she fell into the pool.
No, I think he hit her with his knee. But maybe
wishful thinking.
We'll find out. We'll find out in a few weeks when we see it on the big screen because we always miss stuff.
Dad dick and some swim shorts.
Yeah, I like to think that maybe that didn't happen. Just maybe.
But in the context of the film, it would make sense.
Yeah, it would. It would. Well, certainly there's
It also goes back and forth with the pool.
She's got a really strong basis for the neuroses in her family, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They sure do.
Yes. Very strong foundation.
Did they ever go into how she sterilized herself? I can't remember.
No, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I don't think they ever did.
Like
she mentions it several times.
Yeah, she mentions that she sterilized herself and that her mom doesn't know because she doesn't want to have kids because like her great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, her are all firstborns and neurotic, and so she didn't want to bring a child into this world, but it like never really like specifically says like what she meant by that.
And the way that she says it sounds like it's something simple that you can just do. Like, oh, I just went ahead and sterilized myself. Like, how?
She put some hand like Purell in there.
Just pump some Purell right down in there. I don't know.
I mean, she is a teenager, so.
I mean, also she has no problem with
sticking
self-harm.
stuff down there. Yeah, she's sticking all sorts of objects down there. Well, she does like later on in the film. She does say like she wouldn't mind having a child, but then I completely forgot.
She always dreamed of it. Like she always dreamed of it, and then.
I guess, yeah, because she's talking in the past tense, so she has kind of sterilized herself. But then, how would she know that she's sterilized herself? I think isn't that the dichotomy of this situation?
Fair.
Is that she says she has because she wouldn't want to have a children, bring a child into this lather of neurotics in her bloodline.
Yeah.
I guess she wouldn't mind having a child, but the child's gonna be fucked, pretty much fucked up.
Well,
All right.
We learn from our parents.
Anal fissure. Has
Not
any of
many
us ever
people.
had an anal fissure before?
No.
No, none of us have had hemorrhoids, so I don't think.
Have
No.
you, Ryan?
Well, anal fissure is different from hemorrhoids, though. It's like a little cut on the inside wall of your asshole,
Well, I've had neither.
and it bleeds, and it's incredibly painful.
Okay. The way you're speaking about it just sounds like I'm really sorry for you.
No, I've never had an anal fissure before, or at least I'm not aware that I have.
You'd know.
I would
I
know.
think you would know considering how it's depicted in the film.
I think it's like the worst. Yeah, it's like one of the worst feelings.
Oh, and she goes to
Yeah.
school and it's dripping, blood's just
Oh yeah,
dripping down her leg.
It's awful. So,
Yeah, and everyone probably thinks she had her period, but it's her butthole.
There you go, another film reference. Carrie. There you go. Except it's coming out of her ass. Yeah.
Or like South Park.
Tom
Remember
and
that
Steve.
where all the
I mean-
boys were wondering why they weren't getting their periods and then their buttholes were bleeding? No?
What was that? Was that the Chipotle episode?
I don't
Or is that
remember.
different? Right, okay. Because they were like bleeding out their assholes when they were eating Chipotle. Yeah, so I don't know. Either way.
Why don't we just talk about the first penis scene?
Yay!
Coming in about 26 minutes and 50 seconds. Does anyone else want to set this up? Do you want to set up the scene? I don't remember the gentleman's name, her coworker.
So, Canel.
Canal.
Lovely.
They are working. Where are they working? Like,
Meat-
what is she doing? Are
Meat
they
factory of frozen meat.
frozen
I
meat
think it's like meat
packs?
packing. Yeah.
Meat
yeah,
packing.
it's like a meat packing
Hey-o.
plant
Meat
or
packing.
something.
My first job, I almost worked in a meat packing factory out of Livingston.
Your first interview?
Yeah, it was that wasn't an interview because I did say to my dad, I said, I don't know, I think I could maybe find something better, and he's like, you better. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want my first job to be a meat packing factory job.
That seems like a great first job.
My first
because
job
everything
was-
after that will be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first job was a pizza place. But I got free pizza every night, so it's pretty great. And it's pretty much been downhill from there.
I mean, my first was land surveying, but really, like, my first, like, high school job, you know, like I did, like, while I was in school was an ice cream shop. And that was awesome.
Free ice cream.
Best job I ever had. Nobody goes and buys ice cream mad. Like, all
No,
the
that's
customers were
true.
super nice. It was
Or at
great.
least
They're,
if
like,
they
so
are
happy to
mad,
get
then
ice cream.
they're going to
Yeah.
be happy when they get the ice cream.
Right. And if they
Yeah.
give me shit, I can always just, like, bribe them with more ice cream.
Like
Yeah.
sprinkles or something.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I mean, to give you my special sprinkles. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the next dick scene. But anyway, let's continue on with Canel. So let's just say that it's like a meat packing factory. They're stacking meats. He just comes up to her like from behind and says if she wants to get shaved.
Well, he asked her if she's shaved,
Yes.
which is like a weird question to ask someone.
Especially in the middle of a shift.
Like the teenager that you work with at the
Yeah.
meatpacking plant. Are you shaved?
Like, no.
Come over later. I'll
I mean,
shave
I've asked
you.
every one of my colleagues. Ever.
I'd like to give you a good shave.
A few weeks ago when I was at work, we had a
The weird segue.
we had a couple of guys from another property over at our property, and one of the guys who works at ours, he came up to me and he was like, you'll never guess what I heard. And I was like, what? He was like, those two guys who were here, they started talking to each other, and one of them just went to the other one and says, you're looking real sexy tonight. And he was like, yeah, you're looking real sexy too. And then he was like, I can sense a bit of tension kind of going on, and everything seems about it. They keep on smiling at each other, and I was like, look, that's lovely. But I was like wondering if we can try and feed that into our general introductions and in our normal shift days, that we just kind of see each other and it's like, oh, you're looking sexy.
So you're going to level that up and just ask your coworkers if they're shaved.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to be 100% certain, since they work in the audiovisual industry, no one's shaved.
Great.
At all.
Cool.
And everyone's maybe a little stinky. Because they're definitely not getting paid enough, and second
To
of all,
shave their pubic hair?
Or to take a shower?
or to afford any sort of sanitary products. Or I would also kind of point out that they're too angry to do anything about.
See, I only shave my pubic hair when I'm angry. It's with a straight razor. I do not use shaving cream.
And it's
Dry.
Yeah.
and it's to the skin. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like Jesse Ventura
it's
in
completely
Predator.
Bald. Yeah,
Oh, man.
it's bald,
And if you had went and got ice cream before, you wouldn't have to do
and it's the
anything
perfect
like that.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hurts a lot.
So when she gets to his place,
Yeah.
he immediately starts undressing her, and then he takes off his clothes, and where you can see he has an erection,
He does have an
which
erection.
is so fun and rare, these
You
days.
think it was real?
I mean, I'm gonna say
I
yeah.
do
Yeah.
do think that, and I don't have concrete evidence, but based on the information I have about the spinach pizza bukkake,
Oh, I do know about that.
I believe that it probably is.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
But then he put on a headlamp and he starts to
did.
go spelunking or cave diving.
I like that.
I loved it.
Because the only reason I found this funny is it's like an in-joke between me and Laura, is that Laura bought one of those lamps to help her try and find the bathroom in the dark.
Yeah, I did.
When we lived in our old place, because flats in Edinburgh can be, certainly the old ones, they can be more like mazes, and we had a separate shower room and sink, and also a separate toilet area.
Yeah, the toilet was just one room
Yeah.
with only a toilet, no sink or anything. Then you would walk down the hall to get to that.
There was like a separate door that was sandwiched between like 4 or 5 other doors in the same hallway.
Yeah,
so in
pitch
the
black.
dark, you probably would have had
So I
more of a
thought-
troubles. Yeah.
Little headlamp so I could go to the toilet. I gotta pee at night sometimes.
And I took that joke and I put it in a film about someone who was like going cave
yeah.
diving. Yeah.
You
He was
said-
going cave diving trying to look for the fucking bathroom in the dark. But yeah, no, I did find that funny.
Yeah, headlamp boner.
Headlamp boner, dude. I mean, that scene itself, it's relatively quite,
Erotic.
yeah, it's quite sensual in a weird way. Like there was a slight,
gentle.
there was a slight,
yeah,
gentle.
and there was a slight ickiness to the whole thing because you're just kind of like, I've no idea how old she is. She's like,
Yeah.
like,
But it's okay. We looked it up ahead before recording. It was fine.
The age
age.
of, yeah,
The age of consent in Germany, which is
14.
Ugh.
But he
Yeah.
didn't put it in her. It's fine.
well, yeah, that's the thing. Is because she goes,
You can poke
oh,
her on the outside.
he's like, do you
Guilt
want?
free.
What did she? I don't remember exactly what she said, but she's like, are we gonna have sex now? And he's like, you're too young for that.
Yeah,
Which made it more gross.
it did. Yeah,
So, like, you could.
it's like how do you make this moment worse than it already is? And it just did not. It did not quell my kind of my
His
disgust.
ethics actually made it worse.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like fuck.
Yeah, just do it. You know.
Yeah.
It's like just have sex with the child.
She's not a
obviously.
child. She's a
Sure,
full
it's
adult.
like-
Also, she does not look like she's 18 years old. She looks like she's 27.
She does.
So-
Yeah, she's not. Yeah,
Her face is adequately her age.
she's been
in real
she's
life.
not been cast for age. She's been cast for the ability to do the things that she does in this film.
Yes.
For the most part. Do you think she did her own longboarding? That was the only other thing I was kind of
Sometimes
interested in.
she maybe did.
She probably did. Yeah.
Not the cool sick tricks like in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they're not cool sick tricks. There's no sick tricks happening on a fucking longboard. I'm sorry. But yeah. Yeah, sorry.
I'm hating on longboards.
I don't like longboards.
They're just a little bit longer than a
don't like-
skateboard.
Yeah, I don't understand the
What's
hate.
your problem?
Skateboards are cool.
It's for transportation, not for sick tricks.
Doesn't matter. You still look like a dork on a fucking longboard.
I thought she looked
I'm
hot.
sorry. Okay. Well, I mean, no one's gonna go up to her and be like, "Oh, what are you fucking doing on the longboard?" 'Cause-
Yeah, the open gown,
Yeah.
hospital gown. Fucking hot.
yeah.
That's
Plus, she's
super
like,
hot, yeah.
she was fucking skater dudes anyway. She gave that dude a handy,
Yeah.
like at the beginning of the movie.
That's
so
the one she was wafting her
Yeah.
cottage cheese vaginal aura
right, yeah.
towards.
Yeah, and then she kind of like spreads out her fingers with like his semen all over him.
Yeah.
And then she walks home and is like getting stuff out of the fridge, right? Or that's when she was getting all their vegetables.
Yeah, it looks like dried
Like all
paste.
crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Like
rolling
Elmer's
it.
glue.
She's like, yeah, she's rolling the semen in between her fingers, and then she talks about how she's kind of like Dexter because she's like putting them like trophies.
Yes, like those semen boogers. She was putting them in place. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, dude. Yeah. There's like, I do like how disgusting a lot of the elements in the film are. Like just the extent to which she's effectively like rebelling against the things that she's been taught by her kind of cleanliness mother, basically.
Yeah.
And that's kind of super telling. I just love the fact that something that can make me feel like physically quite ill. Like I have to respect something like that.
Tampon swapping blood sisters.
Oh my fucking Christ! Yeah.
Yeah, that is toxic shock syndrome.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
what's
Especially
gonna
her
happen.
homemade ones.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
homemade ones, they're already used,
Yes.
and they don't just like pass them underneath. Like
No.
they throw them and then they fall on the ground, and
Of
then
a
they
public restroom.
of a public restroom, and then stick them in.
Yeah.
She also pulls like hair off of one of them.
Well,
But I
thought-
did like what I did like
Because
about
that's
that
the
scene.
upsetting part is the hair on it.
Yes,
Well, I thought
absolutely.
I thought it got all gritty because it landed on the bathroom floor.
Right.
So she was like picking off the bits of grit. Where I was just like, "What's the fucking point at that juncture?" Like, just you're kind of it's defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, before the homemade tampons, there's also like the drug binge and the vomit eating and all that stuff that happens beforehand.
And that cute rat.
Oh, the rat that gets killed by getting slammed against a wall in a bag.
We did
It's
have a
a
pretty
really-
long conversation after that. He goes, "It looks like they had she did a switch because the
So,
bag went out of frame." And I'm
The
like,
bag
okay,
goes
I
out
hope
of
so.
frame, and in the same shot, obviously, it looks like she's handed a separate bag. They're not killing rats.
No, they didn't kill a rat.
They didn't kill
It
a
looked
rat.
great and
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, the vomit eating, right? The vomit eating. One of my favorite
just
parts.
exploring.
One of my favorite parts of the movie is what's her friend's name? What's Helen's friend's name?
Karina.
Karina. I think it's Michael who's the drug dealer. He comes over and he's got the best weed in Germany. And Karina goes to him and says, "What do you do?" And I started immediately fucking laughing. And he's like, "I sell drugs." And I was like, "Of course he does." Yeah, that was fucking brilliant.
Well, she's a teenager and she's trying to make conversation. So
Yeah. Well, she's also wanting to get into Michael's pants, and I think she definitely does.
Well, yeah, because they were
We
going
don't
to
see
move in
any of
together.
it.
You
Yeah,
never
they-
see a resolution between Helen and her best friend.
I don't think so. No, I don't. Well, yeah, I feel like she was kind of self-destructive, and she was just kind of
Just a little bit.
a
Well,
little bit.
I think that their friendship kind of like dissolved when she was like, "I'm pregnant," and then Helen was like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't do that."
Big mistake. I did like after the tampon thing where they just like rubbed each other's like period blood on their face
Yeah.
like warriors. I really liked it.
That image with like the finger streaks, that when I used to have a Facebook profile, that was my thing at the top of the page.
Oh really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
for like-
a cover photo.
Yeah.
I saw they used that
jeez.
as like in their press release for the film. That
Yeah.
was like the image of her with that, and I'm like, that's cool.
You should use one of those for promotion. Have you used?
Oh, I'm going to.
Okay, good.
So-
Don't you worry about that.
I didn't realize this until just now, but I did a music video that had a moment in that where someone had like blood streaks all over because their hand just started bleeding for no apparent reason.
Not period blood.
It wasn't period blood. I didn't take it that far,
That's a
but
shame.
yeah, there was kind of a stigmatic element to the video, and that was something that I did, and I was like, "Huh, I was doing that thing." I
Oh, man,
did
so
that.
this is like the second film within like a couple of months where we've got period blood on someone's face. That's pretty rad.
Huh.
Pretty rad.
Oh right, yeah, because
Yeah.
Saltburn.
Yeah.
Where he goes downtown.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he
Clown
does.
mouthing.
Yeah,
There
Talk
was-
about
Clown
hot,
mouth.
There was like another.
erotic.
There was another movie that I watched, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a woman like is mad at another woman in a supermarket, and she sticks her hand into her pants and wipes her period blood on.
That sounds familiar.
That's cool.
Oh,
Weird.
yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could remember it, but it was very like that stuck with me. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Big
thinking
fuck
about,
you
like,
energy
tampons,
going
like,
on.
pulling tampons out and like throwing them and stuff. Like
Like throwing them
I'm
against
trying
the
to remember,
wall.
like, what is that?
That sounds familiar too. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back in all my period blood films. Maybe
That
I'll
hap-
make a
that
list.
happens in
Find an
Neighbors.
IMDb list of period.
That happens in Neighbors
blood.
too,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when they're throwing in the window.
because it was Emma Roberts
Yeah.
and Zac Efron, and he's like, "What did you use for the blood?" And she's like, "What do you mean?"
What a weird film to have that in, and kudos to that.
Well, I just had a thought in my head. I don't know if I heard this or if it's something a friend told me when we were younger, but like he used to take tampons and just like pee on them and see them blow up.
Why?
Because I don't know. Because we
So stupid.
we didn't. It was I either saw it in a movie or it was something that happened, and I was just like, "All right, dude."
Well, they get
Yeah.
really, really big.
They do get real big, like with more moisture that you put into
Yeah.
them. So yeah, I think it's just looking to see things blow it up. I was like, "All right, cool."
So speaking of moisture, why don't we talk about my favorite penis scene? And man, oh man. When we were watching it, Ryan, you go, "Oh, that's it? Like, that's a dick scene?" And I was like,
Oh no.
Because I was on,
I,
when that
got on the
happened,
floor
I was like, huh. But you then told me, you were like, oh, I don't even remember that even being there. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was
the
like,
first one. No.
Well, I would have been bitterly disappointed because we did the same thing with Saltburn, where I was just like, that can't be it, right? And then you're like, no, it is not.
It's not.
So I guess setting this scene up, and then I guess you guys can go to town on it.
Just like they did on that
spinach
pizza.
She gets a pizza delivered to the hospital, and she
some beers.
She gets some beers, and then she tells the story to it's Robin, right?
Mm-hmm. In her long seduction
yes.
of Robin.
The long haul of Robin. I mean, he takes pictures of her fucking gaping asshole and stuff.
It's too close.
Yeah.
That's what the doctor says. He just says it's too close. He doesn't say you shouldn't be taking pictures of her butthole.
He's he is a German doctor. He is
he
exacting.
stuck his thumb in her blister. Raw dogged that blister with his thumb.
And he had like his students and stuff. That's again like every time that doctor, he had those students in there as well, and they're just all staring at her fucking hemorrhoidal asshole. Oh, it's so fucking. Anyway, so let's set up this story. She's telling the story to Robin about. Was it people that she knew, or did she just make this whole thing up?
I think it's just a story she heard.
Yeah,
I think she heard a story. So there was two girls who were ordering a pizza, and they were complaining that it was taking too long. And basically, they went to go eat the pizza when it finally arrived, and they were like, "It tastes funny." And supposedly, their father was a food chemist, and he figures out that the thing that was making it taste funny was human semen.
But not just one person.
Not just one person, but 4 different men's semen all over this pizza. And what we're treated to is the sequence of events as to how they garnish this particular pizza. And I guess the way to describe it is it's the bukkake circle jerk pizza scene.
Yeah.
It's majestically shot, though.
It's beautifully shot.
I tried to remember the music that it's set to, but it's set to classical music that everybody has heard. There's quite a lot of nods to very commonly used classical music. There's even the...
Like Peaches.
Yeah, there is Peaches. The Teaches and Peaches track is on there. But there's a lot of classical music in the movie as well that's... very good pride of place.
That scene has lived in my mind ever since that original Uncomfortable Brunch, because and sometimes I would forget where it came from. I just remembered 4 dicks coming on a pizza.
Yeah.
And you don't forget that.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder if someone can make me an art of that. I would hang that on a wall. Just like 4 penises ejaculating on top of a pizza, and I could put it on the wall. I would actually love that.
I mean, I could probably draw it.
I would love that.
I wouldn't have a problem drawing it.
My birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be like The Last Supper, except it would just be a single pizza and 4 men with their erect dicks.
I love it.
Yeah, just sparting everywhere.
But yeah, it's iconic. Like, it just really gets in there. That's why I don't remember the first scene. The first penis scene, because I'm like, it's inconsequential to the fact that the pizza scene's coming.
Right.
It's very clear. It's very juicy. It's very wet. And you kind of see, like, it's a kind of majestically put together sequence where it starts from the flaccid to the stiff to its very end conclusion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not simulated.
I have notes.
Yeah.
Are you ready? I have a whole story.
Yes.
So it turns out that they used a mixture of real and fake semen. The director had said, so we had to find out ourselves, like, what's the best way to make sperm and how to ejaculate it in front of the camera. They also used 20 pizzas and a special high-speed camera to capture the ejaculation in slow motion.
Wow.
They hired porn stars because they were the only ones able to like really perform when the cameras were on. It just so happens that day was the one day that they had a female assistant camera woman working. She didn't know what would happen, so she was like standing next to the camera in front of a pizza and a really big penis and trying to pull the focus.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that so much.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love...
What a day to be on
I loved
set.
how it's set up, and they've got like phantom cameras like running at like 2,000 frames per second, and it's just like, yeah, we're gonna just capture that because it's like in Dread when they try to do that stuff with the
It is just like Dread,
and it's just like Dread, you know.
Dread.
No, I think that's fucking phenomenal. Because the only other movie that I can kind of remember that has that level of like semen kind of induced in it is, I mean, I remember specifically like Ishi the Killer has quite a lot of semen in it. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of wanking. You don't see any dicks, but you see a lot of semen to the point where the opening title to the movie rises out of semen in that movie.
Wow.
But
I don't remember that much semen
No,
in
because
that
you
film.
fell asleep because you got traumatized by it.
No, that was not
when we were
Ichi the
watching
Killer.
it.
I watched the whole of Ichi the Killer. It was that other one that I fell asleep because it was the
Oh, I
the
saw the
Revenge.
devil.
I saw the devil.
Oh,
yeah.
that movie's so fucking good. Yeah.
Really stressed me out.
It's really grim. But
I'll
anyway.
watch it again, maybe alone.
All right. In a
it's
dark room
very erotic.
with my own thoughts.
with a turnip or whatever the fuck she had in the
No,
beginning
the
of the movie.
carrot. The carrot.
I know it was a couple different things. So she was saying what was work.
She had ginger.
Oh, it was ginger.
Ginger
That's
was
right.
terrible.
I saw a movie
Yeah.
once where somebody masturbated with a turnip. It was real.
It was real?
Yeah,
How
it was in
big
their
was-
ass. It was big. It was really uncomfortable.
I feel like that's not.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Never mind. It was an anthology movie.
But
Okay.
turnips are known
Oh.
for their soft texture, right? They're kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
And they're not. Yeah, I don't see how that would be a good time. But yeah,
I mean, you
I do
obviously
like a
have the
turnip.
peach.
Like I do like a turnip. Like some neeps and tatties and stuff. I do like a turnip. I do miss
like to
that.
eat or to.
Shove in your ass.
Oh, to
Yeah.
eat. Yeah, I'm past the point
What's
of shoving
everyone's
things in my asshole.
favorite
That's-
vegetable
Yeah, you're
to
too
put in
old
their
for
butt?
that.
I'm too old for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like destroy my asshole, putting a turnip in it.
Yeah, I
Her
mean,
favorite
it's
was
going to get
carrot,
destroyed on its
right?
own.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I do
just-
enough just in my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Of destroying my fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Is she putting them in her asshole or is she putting them in her vagina?
I think she's putting
I thought-
everything in her vagina.
Yeah,
though.
I think she's.
Yeah, because if she was putting them, if she was, if she was
Masturbation.
putting
She'd probably
them,
be flipped over if she was putting them all in her
I
butt
thought-
too. 'Cause she's
I
in the
f-
bath, like laying on her back.
Because I was like,
harder to-
she's young and she has hemorrhoids, but I think it was because of the shaving accidents that she'd given herself hemorrhoids. I think that's what that was. I think,
no, that's usually if
No.
you sit on the toilet for too long, or if it's genetic, like she was talking about. But with the vegetables, like if they don't have a wide base, then they're gonna get stuck in her butt. So like that would have been a whole different.
That'd be rough.
That would have been
Okay.
a different movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Side note that I don't want to forget to tell this is that after when we showed this at brunch, whatever 2016 or whatever, I don't know if you remember, my father was there. And he's a big fan of the movie. He thinks
Yeah.
it's very funny. Like he still talks about it.
Yeah.
But I told him that story about how they ended up hiring porn actors because they were the ones performing in a very George Martin sort of deadpan way. He just goes, "Huh, yeah, I can see that being a hard thing to fake." That was all he had to say.
Adorable. Adorable.
Oh, amazing. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's it's wondrous.
It's funny, actually. I have another family-oriented story about Wetlands.
Yes.
The first time I saw it, well, actually, it wasn't even the first time I saw it. It was when it played at the Florida Film Festival in 2014. It's a 2013 movie, so I feel like it probably played in 2014. Maybe it played in 2013. Okay. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point is that that was the year that my baby cousin, who is 30 years old now, but at the time was 20. She came out from Dallas, and Samantha is amazing, and she's really likes fucked up stuff. She's just great. But she's very disarming because she is a very adorable, petite, blonde woman who looked like she was 14 when she was 20. Like, very much. And she was excited to see it. But I knew I had to intro the second screening. So I take her to the programming coordinator, Tim Anderson, who we all know and love, and just said, hey, this is my baby cousin Samantha. She wants to go see Wetlands. And so they went and saw it together, and that was the first time they ever met. And it was apparently great, and she still talks about it. I was hoping to get her to come out to the screening, but I don't know if it'll happen. But I don't think so. But I'm going to definitely tell her to listen to this, because I think that's funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, she was here for the whole week. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't really necessarily need to go into, like, you know, attempted suicide and, like, sitting down on a
Knob
on a hospital bed.
Yeah, it's like the winch on a hospital bed.
Well, it's just like the amount of blood that happened. I was like, oh.
It's the process into which I think it's very cleverly done, where it's like she goes to, I mean, this is going to sound disgusting, but it's just I thought it was incredibly clever, and I thought it was very effective, the fact that she slowly goes on there, and it's almost as if something pops like a little balloon, and then it's just like blood everywhere. To me, it's so much
really fast down on the donut.
Oh, super fucked. Yeah, super
like,
fucked.
oh.
Yeah, I winced when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's incredibly fucked up, and she's really just kind of wanting. Yeah, she's just kind of wanting the time of her childhood to. She wants her parents back together, and she just wants things to feel a little bit more normal, I guess, and it's kind of it's incredibly sad. And I got kind of a little bit of this when the father gives her the fucking pillow and he blows it up for her and she starts crying.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's actually incredibly sweet and genuine.
Yeah, she really cares for her papa.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I recall anyway, liking about the movie that I did not care for in the book, is the book felt colder and just more crass.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or just as crass without any of the sweetness. And I don't think it's quite good enough to be just crass.
Okay.
It needed that level of sweetness to be like, oh, this is actually, because it is kind of a nice movie in its own way.
Yeah.
This is easily one of the nicest movies we've ever shown.
Yeah, because, like, she is just looking for affection, and she wants her parents to be back together so she can feel like the family is whole. And so, like, her intentions and her agenda is very, like, pure.
Yeah.
In that sense. And, like, I don't know, just seeing, like, the family dynamics, it kind of, like, brings it together and makes it a full movie versus like two-dimensional characters.
Yeah. It would feel a little hangover-ish to me.
Yeah.
Like that kind of level of like, I guess it's funny, but I don't care about these people.
Yeah.
Or I actively dislike these people.
Yeah.
I think that anything that gross, you have to kind of have a reason to give a shit.
It
Well,
finds
just
a
additional
nice balance.
context, given there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it finds a nice balance between the elements that it's depicting here. I kind of feel like if it's skewed too far in one direction, it's like a little bit moronic. In the other direction, it's just a little bit too malicious, potentially. But yeah, I think it strikes a fine balance in that it's quite funny, it's lighthearted, it's quite tender at points, and then you're also like, well, that's super fucked up.
Yeah.
Watching that, so.
Yeah, like the dinner party scene whenever he's talking about her
Really upsetting.
her episiotomy, and
Yeah.
then she's like getting drunk because she doesn't know what to do, and then just flashes her vagina at everybody.
It's super fucked. I think, well, that was when I explained to Laura what I think it was like a 4-bird roast was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you were mostly interested in.
I was like, that's,
during
yeah.
that scene.
It's just you stuff slightly smaller birds into bigger birds until there is no more bird to stuff, basically. But yeah, that I was more concerned about that than the father's antics, I guess.
Yeah, he wasn't being very nice.
No, he was being a horrible bastard. But yeah.
It did make me sad how little they visited her in the hospital. was pretty terrible. Only
Well,
for
the
like
thing,
a second.
yeah. Well, that's the one thing is that she is able to leave. I just think she was. Yeah, she just didn't want
She
to
had
leave.
two motives.
Yeah, she had two.
Get her
two
parents there
motives.
at the same time for once, which
Yeah.
never happened, except the very end. And then fuck that nurse.
Yeah, she wanted
Yeah.
to bone Robin.
Yeah. She didn't get on that Robin.
And then she got both of her wishes, or both of her
She-
wishes came true.
Did I don't
So-
love that. I don't love like the incredibly tender in the rain
Yeah.
kiss between the two of
There's
them.
an anal sex joke right before it, though.
That
It's
is
fine.
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Like,
He'll wait a little bit before he
Yeah.
puts it in her butt.
Man,
I would
this-
never put it in that butt.
This-
Actually, I'd be afraid of her general flora. She said it was quite healthy, but I'm not sure. I
I just realized though this movie goes against our number one principle.
Yeah.
We when we program the one rule that we try to abide by is that the audience has to feel worse when they leave than when they showed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This does not qualify.
Yeah,
No.
but it has enough goo in it.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't feel bad about it. But it's just I didn't really put that together. That this is actually one of the rare times that we're showing a movie that you'll actually leave feeling better.
You'll have to
about.
mention that when you introduce the film,
Yeah,
because I definitely felt worse when I saw I Stand Alone.
good.
I felt
That would be really horrifying if you
pretty bad.
didn't. Like if you came out.
I looked back on my rating on Letterboxd.
Skipping.
I gave it 5, and I'm like, what?
Like if
was
Laura came
happening?
home and I was there and she's like, I've got some ideas. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh.
What the fuck
They
does
all
that mean?
involve
Yeah.
incest.
I'd be like, you better leave.
No.
Yeah, because we chose this one to be in February just because we've got two pretty upsetting films. Like, I mean, I Stand Alone, and then Killer Joe isn't.
Killer Joe is very fun.
I mean,
It's fun.
It's fun, but you don't feel good
No.
after.
No.
I
Or
mean,
at least, yeah, you shouldn't.
Make
I
sure to
kinda
order
get
the
it.
chicken
Yeah, I get a kick
when we
out
watch
of it.
Killer Joe.
Yeah, I did find myself laughing at that final scene.
Yeah.
But we'll get
1000% missing a
I
penis in that
fucking
film.
love
Yeah, you
Yeah.
see
So
Joe.
balls, Joe.
Yeah, I've seen the stage play though, so I've seen it with penis.
Oh, that's cool. I made sure I told my mom about it because she really likes Matthew McConaughey.
Right.
And I was like, you see his balls. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
She was like, it was interesting, she said.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a damn good movie. I love Killer Joe.
So let's get into the ratings. Do our guests want to go first? We'll
It
start
seems
from
only
my
polite
left.
to do so.
Invisibility and context, and then we can rate the film. Do Josh want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
Visibility and context. First scene, with the shaving scene, I would say I would give that a 3.5. It's fine. It's not super noticeable. I mean, it's noticeable, but it's not memorable.
Right.
They put it that way. But context would be 5 stars. I mean, I think that it's great that there was an erect penis during that scene.
Absolutely.
But overall, it just doesn't stick with me. The spinach ejaculation scene, however, that is 5 stars across the board, like both ways, because it's expertly executed, it's beautiful, it's horrifying, it's hilarious. When the streams of semen splash into one another in slow
Yes.
motion, it's like watching a 40s musical. Like that level of choreography, it's just wonderful. It was like we watched Top Hat.
No. If your grandmother was alive, Ryan, to hear that
Yeah.
connection.
The Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers would have been,
The
yeah,
semen
would have
connection.
completely different meaning.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
just thinking about like Ghostbusters. My ratings are the same as Josh's. I wouldn't change a thing.
Derivative.
Yeah. I'm boring. That's why I had to go first. I was like, there's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to be more poetic than what Josh is going to say about this semen stream.
Jesus.
You found the perfect words to describe all of that jizz. And top hats off to you.
Top hats off.
You want to go, Ryan?
Yeah, I guess with that first scene, it just kind of, when you compare it to the other one, it's just like the level of focus that's in that scene. You're not really interested in Cannell's erect dick
No.
for the context of what's going on in that scene. You're interested in it for the shaving. It's also a little bit. It's a little bit dark, and also I completely forgot that we saw his dick the minute he puts on the head torch. So
Yeah.
For several reasons that I've already kind of covered already. But yeah, when it comes to that bukkake pizza scene, so let's just say the canal scene, let's just give it like 3 and a 4 or whatever, and just kind of round it off at a 3.5. For the bukkake pizza, though, for everything that's involved in it, and I think I've found myself from liking Takeshi Miike stuff maybe a little bit too much. I have no issue with semen splashing all over the floor, so yeah, I'd say it's 5 stars all over the place.
It's something that I didn't...
5 stars getting shot about all over the shop.
Something I didn't know I wanted to see so bad, and it was done better than...
It was very majestic. This is also the first time, I didn't point this out, this is the first time I've ever seen Wetlands, so was watching it today. So...
Very fun.
It was a bit of a treat, yes. But yeah.
I'm the same, it's 5 stars. I'm just going to go 5 stars, because again, something that lived in my memory ever since the first time I saw it, and it's just something that's so iconic that I sometimes forget where it came from, but now I will remember now. I love it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll go for the film. So it was weird because it's interesting looking back at ratings when you've had Letterboxd for so long. Because originally when I saw it originally I gave it 3.5, and I'm like, oh, that's weird, because I have a lot of fond memories and like a lot of fond feelings for it. And then most of the way through the movie, I'm like, this is 5 stars. This is 5 stars. But then I'm like, and I know in the book she's in the hospital almost the whole time. And so it does feel a bit like, I want you to not be in the hospital. So thank goodness for the like flashback scenes, so you can like escape that area. Anyway, I settle on a 4. I go between a 4 and 4.5 because I do really like it. But I'm going to sit on a 4 because I really do like it. But maybe I could have a little bit less of the hospital. But that's just how I feel about that.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I would give it a 4.5. The reason is I like everything about it until the end, because I think it's a little trite. But I think everything else works really well, and it has good timing, and she's a charming character, and I liked all of it.
This is, for me, this is a bit of a strange one, because usually I'm like, if something's 5 stars, I'm usually like really gung-ho about it. You know, this is a soft 5 star for me.
Okay.
I love everything about it. I watch it pretty frequently, like at least once a year. I have fond memories of every single way that I've seen it theatrically. It is a 5-star movie to me, but not one that I'm gonna scream from the mountaintops, as it were.
Yeah.
Which I know is like kind of not a great endorsement, but it really is. I think it's great. It's a movie that I really, really love. And like I said, watch pretty frequently. So.
And who knows, before Ryan goes, because he hasn't done his yet, but it's always totally different when you have an audience.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, some of the films that I probably didn't even like in the first place, if I've seen them, like, at uncomfortable brunches that you've done, I'm like, oh my God, like, this changes everything. It's the same thing when you watch Shame, Ryan, remember? Because you're like, I don't know, it's, like, fine. And then you saw it at brunch, you're like, holy shit. Like, there's so many things, because you're totally focused, you're in it, and you have that whole kind of energy throughout the room, which makes it a completely different thing.
It's almost like cinema's important.
Would you think?
I definitely enjoy films in the cinema more than I do watch them on a TV, because I sometimes find it hard to focus when I'm at home.
Of course.
But I don't see myself changing my score for Wetlands seeing it on a big screen.
All right, let's hear it.
Honestly. I mean, I gave it 4. I think I reviewed it. I said it's kind of like a super fucked up millennial version of Diving Bell and the Butterfly, where she's in a hospital bed, but it's like she could leave. She's not like paralyzed like that poor gentleman is in that movie. But the yeah, I think for me it just kind of comes down to the fact that like we're in the hospital for a little bit too long, and I feel like it's unavoidable. But I'm also kind of like, I love all the flashbacks, I love all the stories, and I love all the things that like color the thing in. It's maybe just a little bit too long, so I just don't give it the highest amount of praise. I mean, maybe it's better in the cinema when you maybe focus on it a little bit more, but I just feel like maybe it just gets dropped down a little peg. So I did think, oh, maybe it's a 3.5, but I have to respect something that makes me feel as icky as it did when it finishes. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that something about this, the cinematic experience, the theatrical experience of it, is not necessarily your tension level that you're giving the film itself. It's the how you're bouncing off of the rest of the emotions in the room from the people you're watching it with.
It's a big audience participation movie, I think.
Very much
like
is.
just kind of how other people are reacting to the same things that you're watching, I think is relatively quite important.
And I do think it's good that you watched it beforehand because you'll be able to kind of anticipate those moments and be able to pay attention to the audience during those moments.
The anticipation for it will
really
be
fun.
Interesting. Well, I think it's different with Shame, though. I feel like Shame for me became... I maybe began to realize what Shame was that other people saw the first time. So it just took me a little bit longer to appreciate Shame. And that, I feel like that's been the case for any film that I really, really love now, is that it takes me a little bit longer to appreciate. Because I had the same thing with Old Boy. I thought Old Boy was good the first time I saw it, and then I watched it 20 times after that, and I think it's brilliant. So that's kind of the only other kind of shining example of it. But yeah, I think 4 stars is good enough. I don't think 4 stars is bad.
No.
I just think there's a couple of things maybe like narratively in it that I don't dig that much. But yeah, I don't think it really matters that much.
We liked it.
Yeah, we did like it.
I like it a lot. I'm glad that it's coming in the mail soon, and then I can watch all the special features. I want to learn all the things. It'll be here on Monday. Great. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at Uncomfortable Brunch on February 4th of 2024.
It's going to be awesome.
2424.
Yay.
Here we go. If you live in the States and do your dates like
4224.
42. Yeah. 24. That works. Oh my god, I'm really sorry. Well, thank you guys for coming, and I'm glad we got to talk about Wetlands, which is our 69th episode.
Is it?
It is.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
69 dudes.
Party on. No 69s in this film.
That's what it's missing. Maybe it is 4.5 stars.
Yeah. See, there are
Just some
things that's
butthole
missing.
kisses and butthole pleasures and butthole fissures. All right.
Way to be redundant.
If you had a drink or if you had a quarter for every single time that they talked about anal fissures, I think you'd have at least $2.
Wir brauchen Gott.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. 8
If I had a
quarters.
nickel, I'd have 85 cents.
All right, cool. I'm shutting this down. Coming to you from the dirtiest toilet in Berlin. I've been Laura.
I'm Katie.
Josh.
Ryan.
Wow. Friends, what a pleasure.
Thanks for having us. It's always a blast.
Thank you. And thanks for bringing your new dog,
Yep.
Katie. It's very handsome.
Yeah, he was very involved in this episode of the podcast. This is the only time we've referred to him.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 How do you say it in German?
Tschüss. So,
Careful with that, man.
sorry. I'm really tight as well for some reason. This is like that. I don't want to move the thing.
Not like this movie.
No. Everything's
So loose.
loose.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Floppity.
loose.
One big mess.
Hey, look,
Wide open.
Wide open.
we're all gonna get old and everything's gonna get looser.
She's
That's
not
usually
old.
how that is. No, she's not. She's just
She's making her asshole
she's
old.
fucked her asshole beyond repair, pretty much.
Anal incontinence.
That's like the scariest thing. There was a guy at university who had so much anal sex that it was just falling out of him.
Yeah.
He had it too, then.
Yeah.
Prolapse.
No,
Like worse?
he would just fall, like topple out of him without him
Oh,
knowing.
he was literally incontinent.
He literally, his asshole was just at a wide angle. the entire time.
Wide set.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, everyone's just like, oh, his jeans are going brown. Like, that's what I remember hearing.
Everyone's entitled to their own butthole pleasures.
They are, but this was obviously having a profound effect on him.
You had to cork it up.
He did, yeah.
You gotta
He probably
dipe
would
it.
Have to, yeah.
Gotta
dipe
get
it.
diped.